In today's Black Clover video, I prove to you that Yami is either evil, a traitor whether he is aware or not, or perhaps manipulated, controlled, brainwashed or blackmailed. Something like that caused him to do certain things that just don't make sense unless Yami was instructed to do those things. I will explain what those things are and how exactly they make Yami suspicious. Also, I talk a little bit about the Yami clan incident and how Yami might really be involved in it. If you end up liking this video, consider subscribing. Please enjoy this video. Let's go! Before I get started with the main topic, we have to talk about something very important. Some of the things I mentioned make it seem like I think Ryu is evil. However, that is not always the case. Ryu has a very complex situation. He can see the past, present and future. He can see what will happen if he does certain things, and therefore he cannot always tell what he is planning, thinking, meaning and intending. Nor can he always do what he will normally do without knowing what the consequences of his actions will be. This may cause him to act strangely and look suspicious, when in fact he only knows what others do not, and does not base his actions on what he thinks is best, as normal people do, but on what is actually best for humanity and the land of the rising sun. However, we must also remember that Ryu did not always have this all-seeing eye, especially not in the past, so at some point his actions were determined by his feelings in his own mind, not the future. Also, he must have done something to obtain this eye, so that must be considered as well. The fact that it is possible that this is the Eye of Astaroth, a devil, suggests that Ryu might have done something dark. He must have paid some price for such a pact, unless Astaroth is a separate entity and has nothing to do with Lucius and is not evil. The most logical thing to do is to look at Ryu 50-50. Both is equally possible that he's evil and that he's good. When I talk about situations where I think Ryu is actually evil, I will mention that directly. In all other cases, I just assume that Ryu has a reason to act that way. Anyway, the biggest mystery in Black Clover right now is undoubtedly Yami and his past. When it was revealed that Yami apparently slaughtered his entire clan, we naturally believe that Yami was innocent simply because it's Yami. Come on, he can't be evil, right? Captain of the Black Bulls, one of the first characters introduced in the series and has also been one of the most popular characters ever since. And yet we can't ignore the possibility that something about Yami is not as it seems. We can't just ignore the fact that Ichika literally saw Yami slaughter his own family with her own eyes. This leaves only a few possibilities as to what happened with only two options. Either Yami actually did it, in which case he's either been lying to everyone since the moment he arrived in the Clover Kingdom, or he forgot everything because someone erased his memories. Or the second possibility, Yami didn't do it, in which case it can only be explained as either Ichika being manipulated by Ryu, using ki to make Ichika see something that isn't there, or both of them being manipulated at the same time into believing that Yami slaughtered his family. So either Ryu is evil or someone else is secretly evil among the people of the land of the rising sun without Ryu and Ichika knowing. But here's the thing, with Ryu's all-seeing eye, he can see the past, present and future. So if he really was manipulated into believing that Yami slaughtered the Yami clan, then the present Ryu should be able to see into the past and find out what actually happened. So in this case, he would see how he was manipulated and possibly who might have manipulated him. The fact that he could prove Yami's innocence by doing this speaks to the fact that Yami is actually guilty, or Ryu is lying. But again, it's not that simple, because he might actually see that he was manipulated by someone who is very dangerous and powerful, someone who may be close to them or lurking in the shadows of the land of the rising sun, a sleeping danger that if provoked could destroy everything. So Ryu could also see what will happen if he revealed the truth. And if that revelation would lead to the true evil awakening and destroying the land of the rising sun, it is obviously in Ryu's interest to keep the lie alive, with Yami as the scapegoat. The fact that there's this possibility with, for example, Lucius as the evil one in the land of the rising sun, we cannot ignore the possibility that Ichika was manipulated by Ryu, but not because he was the one who destroyed the Yami clan, but because he knows the truth and it would be better for Ichika and the entire land of the rising sun that she loses her memory, or rather replace with a lie in which her brother is made the scapegoat. Ryu might have done this to protect the people of the land of the rising sun because Ichika probably would have told everyone, causing many more deaths. And maybe Yami is even part of this plan to keep this a secret and sacrifice himself voluntarily because he knew that it's the best for Ichika and the Hino country. In that case, Ryu might even be the one who messed up Yami's memories. However, here I would like to mention that if Yami really lost his memories, then whoever is responsible for why Yami ended up in the Clover Kingdom must also be the reason why he lost his memories, and thus ultimately have something to do with what happened to the Yami clan. Otherwise, it's too much of a coincidence. In this case, of course, Lucius Zogratis is the main suspect because he can manipulate memories and also knows the land of the rising sun. Also, he needed Yami for the Clifford ritual, so he had an interest in the Yami clan from the beginning. Sooner or later, he would have to go to the land of the rising sun anyway to basically kidnap a person. This of course will draw a lot of attention to him and thus could ruin his plan. Lucius kept his identity a secret until the end. A kidnapping would be very conspicuous. It would be much smarter to manipulate certain things so that Yami comes to Lucius without Lucius having to do anything directly. So it's not unlikely that everything that happened is Lucius' fault. And of course, it's also possible that Ryu is evil, but not the only one involved in the death of the Yami clan. He could have made sure that Ichika was the necessary eyewitness to blame Yami. He may have worked with the Ryudo family, or Lucifugus, and of course, as just explained, it could have been Lucius. Maybe even Lucius together with Lucifugus if Lucifugus is the dark magic devil. In that case, all three of them could have made the deal. Lucifugus could provide a special grimoire as described in demonology. It is called the Black Magic Grimoire. Black is dark, like dark magic, for example, Black Warrior. In demonology, the Dark Lord or Devil of Darkness, Lucifugus, can give this black grimoire to a human, and that human can then use Lucifugus' magic without a contract or no side effect. No pact, no deal, no sacrifice, no possession, only benefits. If of course Lucifugus gives this book without demanding anything back. Lucifugus is the only devil in demonology who has his own grimoire, using Lucius' magic that might even be able to change the shape of the grimoire so that it looks like a three-leaf clover. When Raya touched Yami's grimoire, he said it had a strange pattern, perhaps because it feels different than it looks, as the true appearance is different from what people can see when they look at Yami's grimoire. The deal with Lucifugus may have been that he would provide his magic to the Clifford in exchange for a human body to possess. This deal will make sense with Lucifer as the leader, but now that Lucius is revealed to be the mastermind, it's very well possible, because Lucifugus knew Lucifer would lose. So when Yami was used for the Clifford tree, his soul was connected to the underworld and Lucifugus took possession of Yami's body, causing his body to completely transform into that of a devil. As Grey explained when she healed him, she said his body is like that of Asta's devil, Liebe. We literally saw a devil heart, probably the heart of Lucifugus. And Ryu, the person responsible for making Ichika the eyewitness Lucius needed, received the Eye of Astaroth in return since Lucius has the magic of Astaroth. Something like that, so basically Ryu summoned Lucifugus who then destroyed the Yami clan, just like he destroyed the Faust family. He spared Ichika and Yami in the process, but Ryu made Ichika believe it was Yami, for which Ryu received the Eye of Astaroth from Lucius. They then made sure that Yami ended up in the Clover Kingdom, where Lucius erased his memories with certain orders such as that he should join the Magic Knights, inviting Asta to join the Black Bulls, and other things we will talk about in a moment. That's pretty much all the possibilities in the case Yami didn't slaughter his family. And in the case that he did, as mentioned, there are a few more possibilities. Either he's lying or he's forgotten what he did. In the case that he's lying, Yami has a big secret, no matter how friendly he seems to be. No matter how much he loves his squad. He could have his own secret agenda all the time. He doesn't even have to disguise his personality. He could really be the person we all love and yet be fully aware that everything he does leads to a certain goal. And that goal doesn't have to have anything directly to do with Lucius either. He could be pursuing something specific that is only in his interest. And it doesn't even have to be the case that he's evil. He might simply be trying to protect his sister Ichika. For example, he was used as a scapegoat for the Yami clan incident and sent to the Clover Kingdom and is aware of it. He may have been ordered to say nothing and never return if he doesn't want Ichika to die. And thus he may have been given several secret missions without knowing from whom or for what purpose these secret missions are. For example, Yami and Nacht used to be in a kind of gang. They were both criminals. They stole and caused trouble, things that the Magic Knight had to take care of. But then Julius suddenly showed up and convinced Yami to join his squad, and Yami just accepted. Yami didn't even question it, even though he knew the Magic Knights and never intended to join them, since he had pretty much the same attitude as his best friend Nacht. Even Nacht himself was completely surprised how someone like Yami could join the Magic Knights and how Yami could accept this invitation in the first place. It was a total character change. Maybe this is one of the secret orders Yami received. accept Julius' invitation. And that's not the only strange thing about Yami. We already told you the following over a year ago, but had no explanation as to why Yami was behaving this way. But it was always strange. Now it could be that it actually has something to do with his past. He behaved really weird one day at the Magic Night exam. He was standing in the middle of the exam area looking for something or someone until Asta bumped into him. Yami's excuse was that he was lost, even though this exam happens every year. And every year he is there to select new members. Yami himself participated in this exam many years ago, so it was a total lie. There's no way Yami could have gotten lost, especially since he can sense ki and knows where the other captains were. And this strange behavior continued right after the exam. When the participants were chosen by the squads, Yami chose Asta. At that time he was just a kid without magic in a world full of magic, with nothing but a sword and good physical power, but nothing out of the ordinary at that time. He was able to defeat Seke, but how far could he rise beyond that? No one could know, so no one raised his hand except Yami. But before that, Yami said something strange. Something like, no one will choose you if they don't know your power. So basically it doesn't matter how good he was, the fact that he has no magic power and a mysterious strength is not enough to be chosen. That's why Jack chose Seke but not Asta, even though Asta literally destroyed Seke in seconds. These are Yami's words, and yet he chose him. So either Yami is contradicting himself, is a total idiot, or he knows Asta's power and chose him because he always intended to choose him. Which is why he was standing in the middle of all the participants looking for someone who has no magic. Or he didn't know Asta's secret power but received one of those secret missions I mentioned earlier. A mission like, invite Asta into your squad. It is a child without magic who uses only a sword. And so Yami was looking for this person before the exam started, which explains why he was downstairs with the participants. And if you think that's it, no, it gets much stranger. Right after the Magic Night exam, Asta received a very suspicious order from none other than Yami. Apparently Yami had lost at gambling and had no money to pay his gambling debts. Instead, he promised the man he lost to that Asta will do something in his village. I think hunting a wild boar or something. Definitely something no Magic Knight should be doing. This has nothing to do with magic at all. This was not an official mission either. This was clearly confirmed by Heath Gryce's people, who for some reason had the plan of the Magic Knights, which indicated an unknown connection to the Wizard King, or rather to Lucius Zogratis. So Asta was not acting in the name of the Magic Knights. At least not until they discovered that Heath Gryce had attacked the village. From that moment on, of course, this was officially a matter for Magic Knights. But not this mission with the boar. This was Yami's nonsense. But still, Yami sent Asta to an almost uninhabited place where only a few people live, far away from civilization, almost outside the Clover Kingdom, literally at the border to the Magic Zone. Nobody goes there who does not live there. It is one of the most unimportant places in the whole world, and that is the point. Of all places, there was a magic stone somewhere in that village. The point is that the stone has been there for a very long time, but Yami sent Asta, the most important person in Lucius' plan, to the village at the exact time that Heath Gryce was there as well, who was probably in contact with Lucius Zogratis the whole time, as the watch he was wearing indicated from the beginning, and also the fact that he's alive again, so he was probably chosen by Lucius because of his loyalty. It sounds like Yami has once again been given one of those secret missions that only he knows about and has to fulfill in order to protect his sister. But he may not know from whom these orders come or for what reason he receives these orders. Considering all these things, one must admit that the probability that Yami is either being manipulated, controlled, brainwashed, or used is very high. And this is true for both possibilities for the case that Yami really slaughtered his family. So for the possibility that he has forgotten everything and now doesn't know that he's being manipulated. Or for the possibility that he remembers and follows certain instructions to continue to protect Ichika. Of course, there's also the possibility that Yami remembers and is also evil and does everything voluntarily. However, I strongly doubt this. Keep in mind that the actual truth could also be a mixture of all the possibilities mentioned. So what do you think makes the most sense? And do you think I missed something? Let me know in the comments. If you like this theory, hit the like button, and if you want to see more Black Clover content, subscribe to this channel with the notification bell activated. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye.